Morning, folks. Michael with Breath Tap. Little morning coffee. It's just over 50 degrees out. It's here at the end of May. And we've had a little cool down the last couple days, and it's awesome. I love it. It's beautiful. It just feels so good. The sun's just coming up here out of the east. Birds are chirping. And I'm doing my morning routine. I already did some tapping and just wanted to put a quick video out there. I've had people ask in the past and even recently a few times, what is this tapping stuff? What are you doing tapping on your face? Can you explain it? Like, what is it? What is it exactly? Is this woo-woo stuff or what? And I've actually done some videos in the past on this, but I thought I'd put a fresh one out with maybe a little more insight. So I'll try not to make this too long, maybe just a few minutes. So tapping, also known as EFT, which is an acronym for Emotional Freedom Techniques, is a mind-body technique. It's a technique utilized by therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, doctors, and it's used in many different ways. One way where it's been proven scientifically to be very effective is for things like PTSD, anxiety, depression. It's also been known to be very, very impactful for letting go of limiting beliefs, negative thought patterns, trauma, phobias, fears, even addictions. It essentially can be used for anything in your life that you want to change, you need to change, areas of your life where you want to shift. It's very, very powerful. It's also very powerful for things like motivation, for becoming more confident, right? And a lot of times becoming more confident, more empowered is letting go of limiting beliefs that hold you back from becoming that, right? So it allows you to change yourself from the inside out. And the beautiful thing is it's free. So it's pretty popular. A lot of people are doing it, but it's one of the reasons you don't hear about it more often, right? You're not hearing about it on the news. You're not hearing about it from your general practitioner doctors, because number one, it's free. It's easy to learn. There's nothing you could do to patent it. There's no pill involved. There's no surgery involved, right? So it's not something that could bring in a lot of money, but it is incredibly powerful. Other ways that I've personally used, and I know other practitioners used it too, is to use it for changing the subconscious mind, instilling new beliefs, becoming focused, right? Coming up with goals that you want to really instill into your mind and body so that your mind and body will take you to these goals more effectively. It's a somatic healing art, right? So it could be used for things like self-improvement, personal development, motivation, but also for healing, literally healing. Physical ailments, mental and emotional ailments, trauma, like I said, it's incredibly impactful for stress. So now that you kind of have an understanding of how maybe it could be used, a couple things I'll point out if you're interested in the science part of it, the scientific research, the peer-reviewed studies, the meta-analyses. Check out Peta Stapleton. She's amazing. She's PhD. Dawson Church, another amazing research. They've dedicated their careers, their lives to studying the power of EFT. And EFT has even been proven in many instances to be more powerful than your gold standard therapies, like cognitive behavioral therapy, talk therapy, things like that. It's incredible. It's just as effective as these therapies, but what I've noticed when I've looked at the research a lot of times it stays permanently more effective. It remains permanently impactful in one's life long term than a lot of these traditional therapies, is what I was trying to say. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but it's pretty eye-opening when you read some of the research on how this is changing people's lives. I'm my own best candidate for EFT, and I've used it for years now. I started using it in 2017. I thought it was silly woo-woo stuff. Changed my life. It started changing my life from the inside out. Now, I don't only use EFT, but it's something I use daily, every day now. I also use meditation and visualization as catalyst for me to continue evolving, expanding, growing, changing, and also getting more of what I want. My goals, my objectives, abundance, prosperity, creativity, things like that. So I use those other techniques. Breath work's also very powerful, and I tend to use that as well. But one of my favorite ways to use EFT is through self-talk. Self-talk is so powerful. The more you talk to yourself out loud, the more impactful it is on your brain, your subconscious mind, changing beliefs. And when you combine that with the somatic technique of tapping, it really becomes powerful at helping you change old beliefs, changing the subconscious mind in areas where maybe you're trying to expand and grow, whether that's financially or in relationships or whatever. There's usually things that hold you back, and tapping can help you get those things out of the way. So the way it works specifically, and you can go and read this elsewhere, but there's a couple different ways it works. First of all, it's through exposure therapy. When you have an issue, the whole concept with the tapping is to, first of all, we're bringing up the issue by cognitively and verbally saying it out loud. Like, I have this stress. It's in my body. I can feel it in my chest. I'm stressed about work, right? And we really focus on those core issues. And we try to get to those core issues. And there could be multiple core issues for a single, overarching issue. And when you start to expose yourself to the emotions and the emotional intensity of those issues while tapping, you're stimulating these points. These are the same meridian points. These are meridian points that we're tapping, the same points used by acupuncturists for thousands of years. And we know how effective acupuncture is. We're stimulating these energy meridian endpoints on the body, right? These different acupuncture points, acupressure points. And we're verbally and cognitively stating the issue out loud. We send a calming signal to the amygdala. We're impacting the brain because of this tapping while simultaneously talking through it. And what ends up happening is you send a calming signal while talking about something that's maybe really bothering you or causing stress or fear or whatever it might be. And you start to break down that intense emotional response. And so a lot of times we'll use the SUD scale, subjective unit of distress scale. So we'll say on a scale of 0 to 10, how intense is this stress right now? Right? And we try to get it as intense as possible, as long as it's not something that's going to traumatize someone or re-traumatize someone. And we want to really feel it, right? We really want to feel what the problem is and really get intimately into stating what it is and talking about it and working through the layers of that issue. And while you're stimulating those points, that's where the magic really starts to happen. You collapse that emotional intensity, and next thing you know, depending on how serious the issue is, within a single session, you could have completely shifted the emotional response that was tied to whatever that issue was. I've experienced it firsthand. It's pretty amazing when you can bring up an issue that really bothered you for even years, many years, maybe decades. And when you go through a little bit of this tapping, bring it up again, think about it, try to really feel it again, and it's gone. It's like totally gone. It's amazing. So we're working with the mind and body. Like I said, it's a somatic healing art, somatic healing technique. That's just one way that it works. It also works by getting the attention of the subconscious mind. So when you start tapping like this on different parts of your body, you bring yourself to the present moment typically. You get a hold of that subconscious mind. And EFT could be a form of super learning. And Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about this. He wrote The Biology of Belief, absolutely amazing book. He's really the father of, the godfather of epigenetics. But he talks about how tapping is one of the techniques that is considered a form of super learning that could change the subconscious mind, right? So just from a personal development, self-improvement perspective, we can help collapse what holds us back, reprogram the subconscious mind. So if you're going to be using self-talk, which we all do daily, we usually think to ourselves, we're not good enough. I'm not going to try this. It'll be too hard. I'm not taking this risk. I'm not putting myself out there. What if I get rejected? What if I'm not, getting validated and approved by others? What if I don't get accepted, right? We have self-talk already. A lot of times it's negative. We could release a lot of this stuff with tapping. And when you're stating stuff out loud, it's much more impactful and powerful on your brain and body. And you could really start to instill amazing subconscious beliefs, new habits, new thought habits and patterns that can really help you create greatness in your life. So that's another way in which it works. But I'm not going to go too much more into it at this point. There's a lot of great literature, research papers. There's hundreds of research papers. If you go to EFT Universe, Church Dawson's papers and research, check out Peter Stapleton. They have all the research. They're actual scientists. I'm just a good old boy that likes to drink my coffee, sit out here on the deck, and do some tapping. But anyway, I hope this maybe gives you some clarity on what this is. It's not woo-woo, right? This is evidence-based technique. It might look silly. It feels silly the first time you do it, but it's another mental hygiene technique you could use, right? A lot of times when we're stressed, we might rub our head and go like this, right? Or we bite our nails or do any other type of nervous activity. It's really just forms of releasing nervous energy. Tapping is a very awesome art for doing this stuff more effectively and even permanently for the most part. So that's what's so cool about it. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. If you have any questions, let me know. And hopefully you could try some tapping too. Start doing it. Start doing it every day. Start creating greatness in your life, baby. All right, we'll see you.